attacker is being lost, and the attacked is flourishing. Sheep, although are attacked, but they will flourish. There is one major difference between these two. One has shepherd, the other doesn't. We have shepherd. Is it right? So I send you as a sheep among the wolves. Do not greet anyone. I'll just be brief. Not greeting anyone actually meant staying focused. Because greeting people on the way in the villages meant spending time with them in those days. So stay focused. Just go to the place you are going. Then, when we send our people in a new area, just go there and prayer walk. Pray, fast and pray, or also conduct prayer walk. Then, we need to expect one miracle to happen, that God will have somebody cross your path. Just get connected somehow. That will be the seeker. This person is man of peace. The identification of man of peace is the evidence of victory of spiritual warfare in that region. Until you come in connection to a man of peace, continue to pray around in that area. The symptom of man of peace is he will invite you. He will be hospitable to you. Not other way around. This is where we make a big mistake. Begin to invite people in our home and feed. And you will have to feed them for life. In this case, this person invites you. Come, would you mind visiting my house? And then, no matter how simple, but will always put before you to eat. And that's the time you share the works of God, the potential God has to move in their family. And then they'll bring their problems to you. Pray for them. Then you have credibility to speak the good news. Do not start with it. That comes in the very end, actually. So that's what we call Luke 10. There's a whole study on this. If we meet some other time, we'll let you know. In other contexts, when we already have churches, we ask the people to begin to pray for their biological relations in other places. Pray for your sister, pray for your family, pray for your loved ones. So then, the team from this church goes and visits those biological relations and ministers to them. That's how the churches get. Now we don't do Luke 10 almost anymore because we are hardly able to keep up with the expansion of the churches that is happening. We have a potential to multiply 100% in a year right now. If we gave ourselves totally to it, we could see about 30,000 churches planted this year. Over 300,000 baptized in a year. We can. But we are keeping slow. We continue to ask the Lord for about 5,000 new churches, 50,000 baptism for past 3 years. And we had every year. And this year we have also maintained the same goal. Any question, any input? Yes. What's the question again? Spiritual gifts?
Yeah, like how would you use that, I guess, like spiritual gift?
How do you use it in the church?
Yeah, because I feel like in the church now it's just not as apparent as it should.
This is actually a situation that is calling for a reform in the church these days, because we don't talk about the spiritual gifts anymore. We don't visit that section of the room anymore. We more talk about skills, how beautifully you can sing, the performance, the music, this and that, art, drawing, none of which is bad. Please know, none of which is bad. At the same time, they are not a spiritual gift either. Our skills, our capacities, our strengths, They are as good. But a spiritual gift is something different. We need to revisit that room again in the church. So this is not the problem of one church only. This is an area actually which needs a reform. We emphasize on the spiritual gifts heavily. We find that all in Bible. What is a church? This morning we heard wonderful message on it. Now we move from multiplication of leaders to the multiplication of church. We were so far talking about multiplying leaders. Now we're talking about multiplying churches.
I think like a church, like my church puts a huge emphasis on this, but it's like not just every Sunday, but it's just like a group of people that like you almost are a family, and like you
Yes.
know each other and like build up each other's strengths and like focus on like weaknesses and like learn through that, like that there's growth.
Church is family of people. What else? What do you understand about the church? Body of Christ. Exactly. Right.
So like there's the church and then there's churches that are part of the church.
Great. If I understand you correct, you're talking about the various expressions of the church. Is universal church and then local church. Universal church is made of millions and millions of local churches. So we are actually part of same church, but in different places of the world. Okay. Let's look at a few phrases. An organism is a living being. It's a body made of multiple smaller cells. Then you are the church. It's people that are called out. The development of the church, word church, has actually a linguistic line. In Greek, we have ecclesia, should be actually E-double-K. Ecclesia. Ecclesia actually means people called out. But Jesus used the word kahal more than ecclesia, meaning the same. Kahal was later used in Latin as Kirche, and in German it was slightly turned as Kirche or Gemeinde. Gemeinde is more used as church. And the Kirche got used as church in English. The word church actually has no meaning in itself, meaning of itself. The word church is the changed form of ecclesia, step by step by step. As the word fell in various pockets of the world, it changed its form, ending up being called church in Anglo area. But this is just a linguistic phrase which may not be very meaningful. The essence is people are the church. Church is people that are called out. They may assemble or fellowship in various formats. We have a list of formats of the church. I'm actually working on creating a manual, and we bring that up there. We have listed all kinds of churches. We are not saying which is good, which is bad. We just say that they are there. Why is this not a church? Will you call it a church or not? Yes or no? Yes.
I think it depends on the leadership.
Okay. You have a trained leader here that's leading it. And about 60% of the people sitting here are baptized already. They have renounced their former gods, and they are meeting in a small house in a village somewhere in North India.